There we go. See, just I have to have patience.
You got it.
Yay. Okay, so we're setting up your meeting for YouTube Live. If you see me looking back and forth, it's because of the multiple monitors.
That's fine. I do it all the time.
Awesome. Okay, so hold on. Let me. Okay, so we're setting up your meeting. So we're hearing us. So I'm going to mute this so we don't hear us going back and forth. Good. So we are live. Thank you so much, first of all, right? The woohoo and the lining, like just getting censored. Thank you so much for joining me today, for agreeing to help me with my homework assignments. It is absolutely a pleasure to reconnect with you. So first question is, how are you feeling?
I am wonderful. I am amazing. I can't complain. Why would I? Why should I? I'm wonderful. That's all I can say. I'm wonderful. I'm blessed. I'm alive. I'm well. I'm healthy. The family is well. All is well.
Awesome. So for you guys that are checking in on Instagram, I am interviewing for part of my apprenticeship this beautiful woman that I had the pleasure of meeting last year at the Black Equity Conference in Miami. And when I tell you that her light was like shining so bright during this conference, this was my person. Y'all know sometimes I act a little introvertish and shy, but this was like my person that I got to walk through the conference with. She literally caught me when I was falling.
I'm gonna catch you, sis. I got you.
When you got people that catch you when you fall, you better keep them in the circle, okay?
Yes.
But I want to introduce you all to Dr. Ebonee Empowers. You all, I am also streaming this live on my YouTube. So if y'all go right there to the link tree, click on that first link, you'll be able to see both of us live on YouTube. So y'all get in on the action, okay? But like I was saying, we're doing this interview, right, to speak to people who I feel are interesting and are in business. And your story just really stuck with me when we had met. So first, introduce yourself. I did say your name, but like, tell us what the name of your business is.
Yes. So I am Dr. Ebonee Gresham. I go by Dr. Ebonee Empowers, which is the name of one of my businesses. It is Dr. Ebonee Empowers LLC. I also am the founder and CEO of Royalty Body Spa and Wellness in Roswell, Georgia. I'm also a motivational speaker and empowerment speaker. I am a coach, I am a mentor, and I'm also a travel nurse by trade. And I am a mom of 10. And so the name of my business, Dr. Ebonee Empowers, it just means that I help to encourage, to motivate, to inspire women to pull out the purpose that they have for their life and for their destiny. A lot of times they don't know what that is. And I am a firm believer that we all have a purpose. We all have something or some things that God has ordained for us to do on this earth, but we may not know what that thing is, or we don't know how to actually function, right, in our purpose. And sometimes we think it's this, we think it's that, or someone else may tell us it's something, or we may see other people, but I help to empower women to just pull that natural purpose up out of them so that they can live in peace and in joy and in abundance.
Awesome. Y'all heard that, right? Empowering you to live in peace, joy, and abundance. We're going to have to talk about some connection. Okay. Yes. So tell us, how long have you been in business with the empowerment? So empowerment business, how long have you been in business?
So I've been in business doing the speaking and the coaching for about 2 years now. Again, it was always my purpose. It's just that God had to pull me closer to it. So I thought that nursing was my purpose, but I come to find out that nursing is my passion. And there's a big difference, right? And a lot of people have the same thing. Nursing is a passion of mine. Being a mom, I love that. But part of being a mom and a nurse, you're a nurturer. And so a part of that is the same thing that I do with the women that I coach, that I mentor, is that I nurture them. I nurture them. It's the sisterhood. It's the connection. It's a bond. It's really mental, emotional, and spiritual. And again, I've been doing it for a while, but technically 2 years.
2 years. Now, you brought up something about the difference between passion and purpose. What's the difference between passion and purpose?
Your passion can change. Your passion can change at any time. You can have a passion today for swimming, and 2 years later, you hate to swim. You can have a passion, like I said, to be a nurse. I don't per se like bedside nursing any longer, but I still like, I like nursing. I like it, but I love my purpose. My purpose is something I can wake up and do at any given time. It's not hard. It's like second nature. That is your purpose. That is your gift, something that you can do without even thinking about it. It just comes naturally. It's who you are. It does not change.
Good. Oh, that is a nugget or two. Okay. Now tell us, Dr. Ebonee, how did you get into the empowerment business?
All right, let's talk about it. So different life experiences brought me to that, being a teenage mom, being an only child, other things that I won't go too deep because it's in my book and I don't want to give everybody my book away. But being an only child, being a teenage mother, dropping out of college, being abused, misused, depressed, molested. I mean, I can go on and on. Being incarcerated, having multiple children for my father, looking for love for their fathers, looking for love in all the wrong places. Not having my father in my life, those different things that I was able to conquer, being homeless with 6 kids in the car in the back of Walmart while I was in nursing school. I was able to, with the course of grace of God, to conquer all of that, right? To still persevere and still make it through and live to see the other side of the testimony. That right there brought me to what I am doing today and what is my purpose. And I saw that the light bulb came on. Like, oh, this is why. Because at first you always think, God, why am I going through this? And God is saying, why not you? And at that point, I began to realize I was chosen to go through it because now it's easier for me to talk to women that are going through divorce. It's easy for me to talk to women that have multiple children, that have been on welfare. They feel like they're not enough. It's easy for me to talk to women that just need some encouragement, just needs a sisterhood, or their past is haunting them and they can't get past it. They might be entrepreneurs, they might be making 6 figures, but it's still something that's daunting and that's haunting them from their past, and they can't actually operate, to their optimal level because of their past. And so that's when like I said, the light bulb just came on, and I knew that this is why God had me to go through what I went through, because I am a living testimony and a living testament of what it means to put God first and to persevere in life, to get to, again, that freedom, that joy, and that total abundance.
So let me swallow that and digest a little bit, you know what I mean? Because your story is similar, if not even equal to a lot of women, right? I resonate with it. And I remember when we had met and I was just like, look, you already had the voice of a speaker to me at the time.
You said it.
I'm like, yeah, stop doubting that. But so many of us have lived the story of abandonment from the father, right? Mm-hmm. For that father role, being a mother, raising children, being molested, hurt, abused, cast away, aside, whatever it is. And to see women like you be able to stand proudly and confidently, right? To be able to speak and assist and help and empower others who have went through that. You saying, I went through these, you said, why not me? Why not you? You know what I mean? Because you went through it. You were able to speak to others and help them go through it. So I really love how you were able to transfer that into a mission. But let's talk about, and I know it wasn't on my list, but what kind of mind shifts had to happen in order to get to the point where you are able to now nurture and empower others from your place?
Oh, and that's deep. That's the number one thing. That's the key thing right there, is the mind shift. The mindset is everything. Right. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I had to, learn how to forgive myself. A lot of the things that happened to me, I took it in. I felt guilty. I felt like, what did I do wrong? Why didn't my father want me? Or why didn't my children's fathers, want me? And again, I had to say, Ebonee, it's okay. some of these things happened to you, but it was not your fault. Right. And so I had to learn how to forgive myself. Secondly, I had to learn how to forgive those that I felt that abused me, those that I felt that used me, those that I felt that did whatever, right? To make me feel a certain type of way, including my children's father, including my father, including the people that were in my family and that touched on me at a young age. I had to learn how to forgive them. And it wasn't for them, it was for me. And at that point, I remember actually going to a church service, and the pastor was preaching about forgiveness. And he preached specifically on forgiving those who had molested you. And that is something that I suppressed for a long time. It's like it never happened, but it did happen. And I suppressed it and never talked about it, because I was a little girl. But it happened, and I had to uproot it, and I had to get it out. I had to get it out because otherwise it was going to just grow weeds, right? And I don't need weeds in my beautiful field. So I had to uproot that and get it out. And so I did. I uprooted it. I got it out. I dealt with it. And I learned how to heal from it. It happened. And like I said, I forgave myself. That was number one in my mind shift. Ebonee, forgive yourself. And I forgave them as well. The other thing that I would say for mind shift is to understand that does not define who you are. It is a part of your story. It's a part of, the pages in your story, but it doesn't define you. You still, if you have life to live, you still have breath in your body, you still can continue to go on, right? And now you can change the trajectory of your life, right? And so it's different steps that I teach women how to do that. But again, that's getting to that freedom, that's getting to that joy, that's getting to that peace and that abundance, because you have to let those things go. You don't forget them. Right? You learn from them and you let them go. It's also mistakes that we've made. Like I said, I had a baby at a young age, learning to forgive myself. Why did I do that? Why? Because I didn't know what love was from a man. I didn't know. I felt sexual at such a young age, but I was molested at a young age as well. So I had to get it out. I had to get everything out of what was not looking at other people, looking in the inside, looking at me, what had occurred. And I call it revealing, right? And then dealing with it and then healing from it. So you reveal it. What is it? You deal with it, right? Therapy, whatever it is you need to do, journal, exercise, meditation, and then heal from it.
Reveal, deal, and heal. Holyfield, come on with the knockout.
Yes.
Look, this would draw so many questions, but I really want to get people to get your book too, because your story in itself is deep. And like I said, a lot of people can really resonate with it. But okay, so because I'll go into a whole therapy, tips and tricks or whatever, and forget all about the business part, but this is part of the business, right? Because we're in the business of healing, right? So going back to, I know in business, we have this conversation or niche market, right? Remind us of who you are speaking with when you're dealing with business. In your business, who are you talking to?
I'm talking to women that are usually aged anywhere between 30 and about 55. Those women are pretty standard. I would say they're moms, they're entrepreneurs. They're just women that really are focused on their careers. But again, it is something that is hindering them. And usually that thing that's hindering them is their past. And they can't, for some reason, push past that. Those are the women that I talk to because I'm like, you got it. You got it. But every time you feel like you're getting 10 steps ahead, it's something that comes up and then it takes you 20 steps backwards. And it's like, I want to succeed, but why am I not succeeding? Well, it's something or it can be a person, it could be someone that we have to get rid of, literally. And that's just that. We got to just uproot that person. It can be, sometimes it's ourselves. Sometimes we have to look in the mirror and we're our own problem. We're our own situation. We're our own challenge, and that goes back to that whole mindset shift. So those are the women that I talk to. That is my niche. Women that are, between those ages, and that, like I said, they're entrepreneurs, they're mothers, they're wives, they're sisters. They can be a minister. They're so busy nurturing everyone else, but it's something that they need to nurture inside of them so that they can continue to give and pour into other people.
Yeah. Ooh, thank you for that word as well. So tell me, who poured into you? Do you use a mentor, a mentor or a coach? Who brought this out of you?
I would say multiple people. Along my journey from being homeless with my children, along my journey of getting closer and drawing closer to the Creator. Number one, my mother. My mother instilled this in me as a young child. My mother is deceased. She passed away in 2005, but I could never. She's right here behind me. That's Mom. But I could never forget the Ebonee that she raised, right? And so with that being stated, at a young age, I was taught to pray. I was taught to meditate. I was taught about crystals. I was taught about alignment. And I kind of swayed away from that when I was a teenager. Of course, I got friends, I got peers, I want to hang out. I want to think about none of that, until life really hit me. So I would say, number one, my mother. Two, the people along my journey. As I look back, you know how they say God puts that ram in the bush. Each person played a different role in my life at a different time, but it all made sense and it all connected to the woman that I am today. So I had instructors that told me that I should drop out and withdraw from nursing school. But I also had those instructors that said, don't you listen to that. You gonna bring your butt to class and we gonna do whatever we gotta do. Those people are the ones that I knew were there. And believe it or not, they actually served, two of them served on my dissertation team. They were in my associate degree program when I failed nursing school by 2 points, when I was crying and acting a fool. And I'm like, I can't do this. I got 5 kids at home and I'm going through this, and that. They were there. So I made sure that I paid homage to them even when I got my doctorate, because I said, you know what, you've been with me from the beginning. You know me, you know my story. You helped to push me to be the woman that I am today. Also, I had an elder at the church. She passed away a couple years ago, but there was an elder at one of the churches that I had joined. Again, she spoke life into me. She spoke life into me during the difficult times that I was going through. Right now, when it comes to business, I would say there is a young lady. She actually texted me as we're talking. Her name is Dr. Kiana Jones. She goes by the name of Sidepreneur Nurse on social media. When I tell you that this woman is, oh my God, like, it was just divine how she even came into my life. I wasn't looking for her. She wasn't looking for me. God just made it happen, just like how we met. Things just happen in divine order. And she will call. It's not about the money. It's not about joining a mentorship or buying an item. It's how are you doing? I don't care what time of the day it is. And usually when she contacts me and we talk, she's right on point. So I know that is nothing but God that had her to reach out to me at the time she did, or things that she says to me. I'll give you one example when it comes to business. She said, you are doing too many things. You have too much going on and you need to just focus on your coaching, your mentoring, and your speaking. And when she said it, we just laughed about this the other day over dinner when I was in LA, because she lives in LA. And I'm like, what's she talking about? Who's she talking to? But it was it was love. It's kind of like two sisters. And you're like, girl, shut up. And then you walk away and you're like, she telling me the truth, And so the moment that I actually did what she was saying, things just started opening up. Things just started changing. So I would say she is one of my biggest mentors. And I met her on social media. I met her on social media in the DM, and then just went to the dinner with her last week. She just texted me just now. But it's about business, but it's also a balance between the personal and the business, making sure that, you're coming correct. And somebody has to be accountable, right? And you have that accountability partner. And I would say now in my life is her. But like I said, along the way, multiple people.
Oh, you just touched on something very key, because you talked about an accountability partner. How important to you are accountability partners?
Very important. Very important. For me, growing up as an only child, I was more of an introvert. So I am a person that likes to be by myself. I like to go in a corner by myself. I can sit for hours. I can work by myself. But in business, I had to learn how to delegate. I had to learn how to have a team. I had to learn how to have that accountability partner. I had to learn that you are not you cannot do this alone, and you don't want to be the smartest person in the room either. You know, you want to learn from the people that you network with, because your network is your net worth. And so I started branching out of my comfort zone. And like how I met you, that was me out of my comfort zone. I was by myself, right? By myself in a whole nother state, got on the airplane, but I knew I had to gravitate and I had to go to this conference to get what I needed. So to have that accountability partner is very important, because they hold you accountable, right? Obviously, how are you doing? Are you okay? Mentally, how are you doing? Yeah, I see you on IG. I see you speaking and doing this, and that, but how are you really? You know, that person that really wants to know how you're doing when everybody else feels like you're superwoman and you're a celebrity and you're doing this, and that. They're like, I'm seeing something. I feel something. Let's talk. That's that accountability partner. Also, when you need just guidance, you just need support. You know what I mean? You may not need anything big. You just need a small little nugget or something. You just might need a hug, girl. You just might need a hug, or somebody to say, girl, I got you. You might need somebody to catch you, you know, when you're falling. You know what I mean? That's that accountability part. Very important. Very important.
I definitely agree with you, because I have even made I have a group of friends, and we do accountability calls every week now for business. But just like this last weekend, you know, it was a little rough for a couple of us. It's like, you know what? How about we just be in each other's presence? Let's just kiki. Let's just, you know, check on everybody's mental, because as an entrepreneur, especially as a mother, okay, who deals with a lot on their plate. You know, some of us make it look easy, but it really isn't. And once upon a time, there weren't really many people who will check up on you to make sure that you are okay. So having that team that says, hey, you know, I know where you at. I know where you've been and stuff like that. Let's just woosah. What do you need from me, and how can I hold space? I definitely love that you have brought that up, and all the ways that your accountability partner helps you out. But I do also like the sudden connections, right? Because you and I both, I was not going to go. I had every reason why I should not have went to that conference, right? And even on that drive to the conference, I was crying. I was just like, you know, I don't even know, but I don't care what's going on, I'm just gonna make it there, right? And although you met my uncle and stuff like that, you know, uncle be in his own world or whatever, but it was just like, when you feel like you're by yourself in this thing, and you put yourself in these environments of people that are doing great things, right? So let's talk about the environment. Putting yourself in environments, even when you're scared to venture out on your own and meet people. And we'll talk about network. How important is it to, number one, come out of your comfort zone, and two, put yourself in an environment of people who inspire you to be where you want to be?
Right. So again, that's key. That is key for an entrepreneur. And the reason why, again, like I said, you can't do any of this by yourself. You will fail. I promise you. You one time or another, you will fail. And so it's important that you surround yourself with the people that can be supportive of you, that can be your accountability partners, that can mentor you, that can coach you, that can teach you a little something, you know, because those people pour into you. They help you to get that foundation. You know what I mean? They help you to get to, it's like having a GPS and you're going straight to your destination. You doing it by yourself, you trying to Google, you trying to YouTube, you just trying to, you know, play it all by yourself by ear, you're gonna fail. It's gonna take longer. for one, and you're going to have those hiccups. Whereas if you're in the right environment, it's just like a seed. A seed needs a right environment to grow. You need somebody to water it. You need the sun. You need the soil. You need the fertilizer. Everybody is playing a key part to you, the seed. And so you have to have the people around you to nourish you, to help you to get to the next level. That is very, very important. Again, coming out of your comfort zone, right? Because we're okay. I'm telling you, because I was that same person. I was okay with being back here, just watching it on social media or on TV, but at some point you have to say, no, I got to get in those spaces and in those rooms. Now, again, when you get in those rooms, you have to talk. You have to tell people who you are, what you do, right? You are the walking marketing, tool. You are like your own mascot. Talk to people, network with people, share ideas with people, allow them to share those ideas with you. I always tell the people that I coach, I'm like, you never know when you're sitting next to the person who's going to help you become the next multimillionaire. You never know if you're sitting next to your next business partner, and you just don't know, period, who you're sitting next to if you don't open your mouth when you talk. And it's not just about money. It's just that relationship. Everything is not so much about what you know, it's who you know. So it's that relationship that you're building with those people that are around you, because some people get in the room now, they get in those rooms and they're silent. They're silent. They're just sitting there, or they come with their group, right? They come with their group and that's all they're talking to. Well, you could have stayed home for that. You could have stayed home for that. It's important for you to get out and to gather with like-minded individuals and people that know a lot more than you, so that you can soak and absorb as much as you can. And again, let them pour into you.
Yeah. Ooh, let's talk about this. Like you hit me in the gut when it talked about being quiet in spaces and stuff, but I ain't gonna take no offense to it because it's the truth.
Yes.
But you made a valid point when speaking about coming out of your comfort zone, but when you even come with your friends, how you may miss opportunities because you're only stuck within that little group and that environment, and may have robbed yourself of a potential business partner, potential mentor, a potential, collaboration, or even just a nugget that you may have needed to get to the next side. So I wanted to highlight that because it could be missed if you're not really paying attention to that. So there is a blessing on stepping out by yourself sometimes.
Right.
Even though you fear to do that, there's a blessing of going some places alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, when you're scared, we've all been scared before, but when you're scared, you're hyper aware of everything that's around you, right? So now you're listening to everything, you're sensing everything. And that's not always a bad thing. I'm looking at the blessing within all of that, even in that whole experience. And so thank you for bringing that up.
Right. And then you're not distracted though. You know what I mean? You got to look at it from a point that if people are not with you, that your friends, whatever, family, you're not distracted. Like you said, you're hypersensitive to everything that's going on. You're watching everything, you're listening. If you're there with a group or your clique of people, you're more geared to conversing and, and being with them than even paying attention to the room.
Awesome. Yeah, come on. Step in the room by yourself, guys. Come on. All right, so look. So we talked about even if we were to try to do this business by ourselves, you are guaranteed to fail. So I want to ask for a transparency moment, right? So this question is, what would you say was one of the biggest mistakes that you have made in business?
Trying to do it by myself, not paying for a mentor, not paying for a coach, feeling like I couldn't pay to have a team. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the resources. And that was all a myth. It is a myth because we think, well, how can I go in business? I don't have enough money. I don't have the resources. I don't have a team. Everything that again, this goes back to mindset. Everything that you need, God already has it there for you. How do you get to it? Right? So again, you have to deal with some stuff in order to get to it. So for me, full transparency moment, I had the money. I was just too stubborn. And I kept looking at it like, how much is this? How much is this? And how much is this? Instead of looking at it like an investment into my business, my brand, and into myself. When I looked at, and my mentor told me that, Dr. Jones. So when she said, look at it like an investment. Now, it's not a bill. It's not like how much am I paying for this? It's an investment. And when I began to invest in myself, that's when I began to see the fruit of my labor. It just all started just growing. And a team came, right? And I had a VA, and then I had a personal assistant. I had somebody to do my social media. And to this day, I'm like, whoa, I would have never branched out to that if I had just stuck with just me doing everything. But I will be honest, I got overwhelmed and I got tired. And that's when I began to say, God, please send me some help. I don't know how I'm going to do it, how I'm going to pay for it, but please send me some help. And he did. He did. And I had to, again, get out of my own way and stop saying, how much is this, and invest. And again, getting a mentor, getting a coach, somebody that can help me to get there faster. Because success loves speed. I wanted to get there faster. I didn't want to just keep trying to do it on my own.
Let's go forward then. What was one of your the most significant or greatest success story?
I would say when I spread my wings and began to speak, and I was no longer living in silence. So I wrote my book, finally got my book published. People kept saying, you should write a book, you should write a book. And I'm just like, oh yeah, whatever. But finally I sat down and wrote that book. I didn't use the ghostwriter or anything. I got that book written. Of course, I had it edited, and I put it out there. And I was in full transparency. It was a freedom for me. It was a freedom. Can't nobody come back and say, oh, well, you did, I can get, become this billionaire. And nobody can ever come back and say, oh, but you did this, you did that. It's all in my book. It was a freedom for me, right? It was liberation. I released it. So that was one. Two, when I began to speak. So I started getting on stages. I started speaking about my life in full transparency, but how I was able, again, to conquer and persevere, the determination, the grit, right? The resilience. And that was helping other women. Women began to cry. They began to run up to me after I was speaking. And I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is it. They're coming up to me like I'm Janet Jackson, and I'm like, and I was humble. I was very humble, still am. But that's when I knew I was walking in my purpose. And that's when I knew, like, this is it. And things just started opening up from there. From the moment I met you, and you said, you have the speaking voice. And it's just something that rung in my ear when you said that. So you never know how you pour into other people. And from there, it's just been, girl. And I tell you, I get calls almost every day. Can you speak here? Can you speak there? I want you to host this event. We want to buy your book, just different things like that. And this is not with PR. This is not with my manager reaching out to people. This is it coming to me because I'm walking in my purpose. So it's already given. It's already there.
Well, you better preach today, Dr. Empowers, Ebonee Empowers. Look, because what I'm hearing is the moments I gave up and allowed myself to completely be me.
Yeah.
Showing all transparency, all of these things come. Because let's be real. People get into business and they create these personas, right? And they're marketing these personas and things like that. And some people are like, oh my gosh, the mystery of this person. But there's an empowerment within being authentic and telling the truth and showing up as you are. So I thank you for that, because you're just like, look, this is what I'm here for. This is me. And then you wrote, I'm going to get that book too. So give me a
thank you
as well. Because we do need to pour into, and I'm careful with the word support, but I want to patronize your business as well. So I'm getting intentional with my wordplay nowadays. Okay. But okay, so we talked about the biggest mistake. We talked about the greatest success, right? Mm-hmm. What are some of the misconceptions that people have about you now that you have stepped out, right? Because we have that good stories, but some people get it messed up sometimes. So what have you experienced any misconceptions since you stepped out?
I think the only one I would say, people think that I'm a multimillionaire, and I'm claiming it. Yeah, I'm claiming it. Of course, I always say my bank account hasn't caught up to me yet. But I am not. It's just the way that I carry myself. It's the way that I carry myself. And people, when I tell you, when they email me, when they are in my DMs, they are surprised when I reply to them. And this is all the time. And people are like, I can't believe you responded to me. Oh my God, people never respond. Or even when I get off stage, I have people that will, come and they'll gravitate towards me and I'm just hugging them and talking to them. They're like, I can't believe you're talking to me. One of my events in February, I had a young lady say that. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she said, well, people, usually she sees women speakers and then they don't want to be bothered or they're not approachable, I guess, after they speak. And I said, oh no, I'm here to serve you. So I have to speak to you, before the event, during the event, after the event. Again, so I think sometimes people I wouldn't say me per se, but they may feel like you're stuck up or you're not approachable. Definitely not. Definitely not. I am the person, I am the round away girl. I'm the home girl. I got the doctorate, but I still am who I am, regardless of that. You know what I mean? Regardless of that. And I always say, regardless of what's before my name, which is doctor, which regardless of what's after my name, which is RN, I am still Ebonee. I am still who I am. And I'm never going to change that. That authenticity to me is everything.
Yeah, and I do appreciate you being super authentic. I mean, even down to us being able to go dance in the mic.
Yes.
That was a beautiful place to it, by the way.
Yes.
I remember the name of that place. It was beautiful. Being able to dance and sweat our hair out even after stuff. And it is refreshing when you meet people who are just down to earth, especially in a world of people who feel like they gotta fake it to make it all the time in all areas, right? So, okay. Remind us of your mission in your business.
So my mission is to help women to turn their pain into their purpose, to turn their past into prosperity. Again, I'm working on that past, leaving it just that in the past. My biggest part of my speaking and my program is teaching women how to begin again. And part of that is to pray until something happens, right? And so my keynote speak that I usually speak about is staying in the birthing room. Part of staying in the birthing room is to push, right? Anybody that's a mama or knows anything about children or knows somebody that has had a baby, you know about pushing, right? And so the biggest thing that I make sure that I focus on is staying in that birthing room, staying in that delivery room, which means that it's not a literal thing, right? You have to think metaphorically. When you are birthing something, your business, whatever it is, there are stages to it. And you have to allow yourself to go through that process. If you have a baby at 5 months, that baby may not survive. That baby may have complications. It's the same thing for your business. You have to allow that incubation time to go the normal process that it needs to go. And so I make sure that I just hone on to that. And so that people understand that's how I got there. It's not like a microwave thing or overnight thing. You know what I mean? Just making sure they understand you have to stay in that birthing room because God is going to always give you vision. And when he gives you vision, he's going to give you provision. And so you have to be able to walk that walk and talk that talk. And that's what I do. That's what I do, and it's so easy for me now. It wasn't always easy. I promise you it was not. It was not. Homegirl was struggling. Like, God, why I am one that is not patient. Okay. I'm not, but God has worked with his child, his daughter on that. I was not patient. And sometimes I still, struggle with it. But just making sure you stay in that birthing room is always going to be a vision that you have and carrying it out the entire process so that you can deliver what I call that beautiful baby, whatever that thing is, right? That beautiful baby that God has ordained for you to push out.
Like, I'm remembering them birthing processes. It ain't no joke. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's some of the most painful experiences that I personally have experienced in my life, but the reward was that much greater when you see the being or the thing that you have created from your own self. It is rewarding. So, Eddie, like, I had a trigger moment for a second, but I had to remember. beautiful blessings because of that push. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So what would be a piece of advice that you would give to that woman or that girl that reminds you of little Ebony?
Mm. Again, like I said, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself, forgive others, and keep going. Never give up. Keep going. As long as I've had many a times, I got chill bumps right now talking about it. I've had many a times, like I said, I was homeless with my kids. I was on welfare. I didn't have child support. I didn't have my mom. My mom was gone. I didn't know day by day how I was going to make it, but I made it. My kids now, I have 10 children, but they range from 6 to 26. And I look back at them, never once did defects come to take my children. We stayed all together. We stayed together, even if we were eating Little Caesars pizza, we were together. We were in my car. Okay, we were together. And so I would say, keep God first, family first, self-care. It's hard for me to just stick with one because it's a multitude of things and it's all balanced. But, keeping God first, making sure your family, is taken care of. Family is always first, even before business, because sometimes people, and I have done that, not intentionally, but I placed business before my family. And God was like, that's why on Sundays I do absolutely nothing. Or when my children come home, I make sure that I have all my business conducted so that I can spend time with them. And so that little girl, Ebony, like I said, I would tell her, and any woman that was in that stage, is just to forgive yourself, forgive others, and keep going. Keep going.
Thank you for that because, again, a lot of women, I'm even in that boat, have struggled with the effects of the pain that was endured. And some of us have stuck that pain deep within and didn't know how to release it. And they need to be reminded that it is okay to let it go and forgive. And I like how you said earlier that forgiveness isn't really necessarily about them, it's for you.
Good for you.
For you. I tell people all the time, like, forgiveness is just you saying, I no longer want to hold on to this anymore. I'm going to release the hold that this pain has on me. So thank you for that refresher on that. I know we had talked a little bit before the recording about the work-life balance, because as a mother, it's an act.
Yeah.
So what are some tools and tips that you can share with the mothers who are listening to this? They want to go into this, and they know that they're nurturing, but how can I do this with these children?
Well, I would say, and this was one of the things we were discussing on Saturday at the event I was speaking at. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. All things. And so even with these children, it's a way to do it. I mean, I have gotten all my degrees, all 5 of them, with my children. My associate degree, my bachelor's, my master's, my postmaster's, and my doctorate. And each level, I had more and more kids. So I went from 6 to 7 to 8 to 10, And so one, that becomes your drive. That becomes your drive and your why. Are these babies. These children are looking at me. These children need me. I want to leave a legacy for them. I'm going to do this with you. I have to do this with you. I have to have you a part of it. Even put your kids to work, right? Sign them on as employees in your business. Let them see what it is that you're doing. At the same time, it's also important, like I said, to have that balance so that when it's time to spend with the children, the phone is away, the laptop is away, there's no business calls, there's no appointments on this day. You got cheerleading practice, you got to go to haircuts, you got to go to proms. You have to make sure that you are structured and organized in your business so that you have that balance. Part of that is having a calendar, just simple as having a calendar, setting aside those times on your calendar. This is work. And once you leave work, no different than when you were working for corporate, you leave it there and you go home and you're with your family, you're with your children. But like I said, making sure your kids are a part of your business, making sure that they understand if we're at work right now, we're at work. because they're little entrepreneurs. You know, you can write them off in your business. They're little entrepreneurs, and they're watching your every move and step. See, when we were growing up, and not me, you know, per se, and most of us, you know, in the 70s and 80s, we didn't see our mothers and grandparents, you know, and fathers as entrepreneurs. They were working 9 to 5. My mother worked for General Motors, and guess what I did? I went to work for General Motors. I was like, I don't like this. My mother was there for 30 years. My father worked for General Motors. My grandmother worked for General Motors. That wasn't for me. That wasn't for me. So we're teaching them to work for themselves, to have their own businesses and make sure that they're a part of that business. But also, like I said, the key thing is to have that balance so that when you're putting a business aside, you are spending your time strictly with those babies. Because they will drive you crazy, but coworkers do too when you work for a corporation, you know?
Absolutely. Okay. So I heard it's important to audit your time, create a calendar, and put the phone down. Okay. When it's time for family.
Right.
What are some things that you would say, like looking at everything, right? What are some things that you would encourage women who are looking to push through, right, to their purpose? What are some things they should avoid?
Number one, I would say avoid envy. Don't look at other people. You know how they say the grass is not always greener on the other side. This social media thing has us all screwed up, you know? And so we spend hours a day looking at other people per se. You might look at Dr. Ebonee and say, I want what she has, but it may not be for you, or it may not be your time. You know, it may have taken me 6 to 10 years to get what you see right now. So it's going to take you some time to get there, right? We want instant gratification, but you have to just know that you have to go through your process. Your journey may be different than someone else's, and that's perfectly okay. And to stay in your lane. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to speak like somebody else. Don't try to talk and walk like somebody else. Don't try to open a business because you see someone else and they're doing great and stay in your lane, stay in your purpose and walk in your gift. And that's when it's going to work for you. Because when you're trying to be someone else, it ain't going to work. It's not going to work. And people are going to realize it and like, this is not her. You know, this is not truly you. Because, for example, you can do an interview like this, and if you're doing something that's not you, you're gonna mess it all up. You're gonna mess it all up. It's gonna come out somewhere because you are not being who you are supposed to be. You're being somebody else. You're being somebody else. And so I would say just to just not be envious of other people. Definitely don't be jealous, but don't be envious looking at other people and just wishing to be like this and that person. It's okay to look up to people. So I'll give you an example. My mentor, Dr. Jones. Oh, she has like oh God, the numbers that she showed me that she's making, I'm not even there yet. I just love being connected to her because I know if she can do it, so can I. But am I envious? Not at all. Am I jealous? Not at all. I'm just still walking, crawling, running. I'm going to get there. You know, and so that's what I mean by that, you know, just enjoying the process of your journey.
Enjoy the process of your journey. That's a quotable. Okay. Right. So last 2 questions. So tell us about what you're offering to the people.
So I offer a mentorship. It's 2 different packages. One is my group coaching and one is also my one-on-one coaching. Now, I will say in all transparency, most people will join the one-on-one coaching. People they just are babies and they're spoiled and they're like, I don't want to share my time with you. I want one-on-one time. So with that, I offer a 4, a 6, and an 8-week coaching program that we do bi-weekly, and we structure it around either personal development or business development or both. It just depends on. So I have coached women who wanted to become authors. I have coached women who wanted to open up a med spa. Anything that I have done and have done successfully, that's what I coach women on. Like I said, working through their past, opening up a business, how to leverage their business, you know, to the next level, how to balance family and business. Those are the things that I coach women on. So with that offer, I have offered women, when they sign up for my coaching program, usually it goes longer than that. I will say that. So if they sign up for 4 weeks, we usually go for 6 or 8 because I like to over deliver. I like to give them more. And if I feel like we're not there yet, we got some more time that we need to spend together, and it's a continual relationship. It's not like once those weeks are done, we're done. They have my email, they have my phone number. I do, tell the women, just make sure you text me, just out of all, due respect, because I have so much going on, but I still respond back. I still call them back. I still meet with them because that is, to me, what sets me apart and makes me different than my competition. You get directly to me. It's not an assistant. It's not other people. You get direct access to me even after the program has, ended. So that is my offer. That is my offer to the women. And I will say this, all money is not good money. So I go through a weeding out process because I'm like, listen, some people got the money, but they don't have the drive. They don't have the determination. They are not coachable. All right. And so those are not the people that I work with.
Awesome. So look, I think it's important to have those I call it boundaries for
Boundaries.
right? So thank you for bringing that up because everyone thinks that they can have, not gonna say everyone, people that know better. But some people feel like you're just going to accept them even if they're paying money, but you have set up a healthy boundary. Ooh, that's important to have. We might need to have another discussion about these boundaries. Okay. The boundaries are important.
Very important. I had to learn it the hard way, but I learned real fast. Real fast.
It only take a couple of times to get burned by people. And you'd be like,
you know what? Here's your money. This program, I'm not the right coach for you. Take your money, find somebody else. Yes.
Yes. Okay, but for those who are serious, right? And those who are ready and those who have the drive, how can they reach out to you?
Oh, definitely. They can go to my website, which is www.drebonee.com. So that's DREBONEE.com. I'm also on social media, on Instagram and Facebook under Dr. Ebonee Empowers. Like I said, just shoot me a DM. They can go to the website. They can sign up right there. They can also, schedule to do a consultation with me one-on-one. And yeah, reach out to me. I'm available.
Hey, well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview with me. If they do a conference this year, you going to? Like, we need to connect again. I need to make a trip to Atlanta to your spot.
You do.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stop this live so we can talk about this spot because I need to work. I need the works. All right, guys, reach out to Dr. Ebonee Empowers. Homie, down to earth, right? We'll catch you when you falling, okay?
Yes,
But get empowered, you all. You never know who is in your circle. And it just takes that one time of stepping out on faith. Even when you're scared, you never know who you'll meet. You'll meet some beautiful people who will end up empowering you. So go ahead, guys, reach out to Dr. Ebonee Empowers. You can reach her at www.drebonee.com. And that's Ebonee with E's, right?
Yes.